Go live there. I do apologize. Welcome in. It is the high noon stream for Tuesday afternoon. We do this every Monday through Friday. That's right, every day. Unless I have something going on. I apologize. Yesterday I got something going on. I have something going on later in the week. I'm just not sure what day it is. I just know for a fact that it's not tomorrow. So we will have another interruption here in the high noon show. What is the high noon show? Well, it's a production of myself and the fine folks over at radiomisfits.com, the podcast platform of choice for all the cool kids. We wanted to do a show where we could every day have a conversation about the world and everything that's happening in the world without getting into the divisive politics or culture wars or any of that nonsense that has completely ruined American talk radio. There's nothing fun to listen to on talk radio anymore. Although hopefully that'll change soon. We shall see. So that's what this show is. We go through all the headlines, the hot topics, the current events, whatever it is. If it's trending on one of the socials, if people are talking about it, that's what we go through. We make a list and I run through them. We do them quick. We give you everything that you need to know about the day. We tell you the trending topics and headlines and current events and all that stuff. But I also like to give you a little bit of a wrap on what today is. So we go through some of the history, some of the big moments that have occurred on this day. We talk a little bit about those. We talk about people who were born on this day and the contributions that they've made to all of our lives. And we also mourn the passing of people who were expired, died, passed away on this day throughout history. And then we get into the headlines and the topics and all that kind of stuff. This is High Noon. It's the first of two streams that we do. We do another one at 9 o'clock, 9 Central Time. These are all Central. Central Time. It's the only time zone I acknowledge. Central Time Zone, 9 o'clock. That's with my buddy James Parker. That's Pugs and Parker proudly present Pillow Talk on the Radio Misfits podcast platform. That show comes on every Monday through Thursday. Again, 9 p.m. Central Standard Time. And it's a bit more conversational than this. All right. Let me catch my breath here. How is everybody? How's everything going today? We got Jeff here. Hi, Jeff. We got Melissa. Hi, April. We got Byron. We got Al. Okay, people are filling in. We're getting everybody in here. Let's go. Come on, everybody. Grab your seats. Sit down. We got a lot to get to today. Been some weird technical issues. I know. Don't give me any shit about the 8 minutes after start. I know it was 8 minutes after. Did you know that I was ready to go at the top of the hour, but something went wrong with the camera. I couldn't get the camera to work. Remember last night when James's camera wouldn't work and there was something weird going on? The same thing happened with my camera. I couldn't get my camera to work, and it took me all of 8 minutes to, reconnect everything and just do it all again. I hate computer technology because there's only a handful of people, although there are more people now. But if you go back like 25 years, there was only a handful of people who knew anything about the internet. Yeah, I'm talking about you, Ed. Now there's more people now, but still those people who were like the first wave experts, the Eds, if you will, I'm starting to realize that they were full of shit 20 years ago. All of this talk about this technology sucks. This technology is not ready for mass consumerism. There are just way too many glitches, way too many bugs, but it's too late now because now we've all gotten ourselves addicted to this stuff. So now we just have to put up with all the nonsense. Swear to God, camera. Why the camera didn't work? Didn't work. So I just unplugged everything and unplugged everything back, and then it worked. There you go. No rhyme, no reason. Just the gods out there in the magic computer world, the internet, the metaverse, whatever it is, the gods out there decided to screw with me a little bit today. So that's why we're late. All right, let's get into what today is. It's high noon for the 13th day, month of September, year of our Lord, 2022. It is the, 256th day of the year, it says here. 109 days remaining until the end of the year. Let's get into all the things that happened on this day. In 1788, on September the 13th, this very day, the Philadelphia Convention. Yeah, all right, America stuff. This day, 1788, at the Philadelphia Convention. So 1788, we already won the war, right? I don't think people, and when I say I don't think people, what I'm really saying is I don't really think it's me. I'm talking about me. I kind of like in my mind, I just think like, okay, July 4th, 1776, we won the war. July 5th, 1776, we elected George Washington. July 7th, 1776, the Constitution. You know what I mean? Like I in my mind, it all happened like in the week following July 4th. But But see, then you're like, wait, that's not right. Because the war began with the signing of the Declaration. It wasn't. Oh, anyway. 1788, man. 12 years later, they're still getting together in Philadelphia going, what are we going to do here? We ain't got a queen. We ain't got a king. We're just kind of on our own here. On this day in 1788 at the Philadelphia Convention, they set the date for the first presidential election. And New York was named the temporary capital. They're still in New York. New York was our capital for a while. Did George Washington live in New York? Like, Washington didn't live in Washington because there wasn't a Washington right? Washington became Washington after Washington had already passed. So when he was president, like, what did he do? Did he live in like a brownstone? Like, where did President George Washington live? I don't think I've ever seen that. I don't think I've ever even thought about that. I just assumed Washington was walking around the Oval Office. Hey, if you need me, I'll be in the Lincoln bedroom. Oh, wait, that guy's not around yet. I'll be in that bedroom that doesn't have a name. I don't know how that worked. On this day in 1814, in a turning point, here's another one. This is a war that we have absolutely no, and again, I say we, I mean me. The War of 1812. What? Did we ever learn about the War of 1812 in school? No. It went from the Revolution to a bunch of boring stuff, to the Civil War, to a bunch of boring stuff, to like a couple of days about World War I, and then right into World War II. And if you were in grade school at the time, this would take us, we'd start World War II like around St. Patrick's Day, and then we'd be on World War II till the end of the year. Like 10 days before school ends, they would go, all right, let's start a new chapter. Vietnam War, it was a war. Okay, let's all have classes outside and throw the ball around. We never went further than World War II. It was always like, all right, this mid-May in my 5th grade of education, this mid-May, I'm going to learn all about the Vietnam War, and then nothing. And you get nothing. You get World War II, and then that stops. In 1812, though, it was a turning point in the War of 1812. The British failed to capture Baltimore during the battle. Let's see. Oh, during the battle, Francis Scott Key composes his poem, Defense of Fort McHenry, which is later set the music and renamed the national anthem. Oh, say, can you see? There you go. It was on this day, 1814, during the War of 1812. Although it was 1814. If your war is going to spill over into the next year, you can't call, right? You got to just... Why don't we just call that like the War of British and Indian aggression? I don't know what we could call that. 1862, during the American Civil War, Union soldiers find a copy of Robert E. Lee's battle plans in a field house outside Frederick, Maryland. It is the prelude to the Battle of Antietam. They found his playbook? What? So, like, the leader of the Confederates dropped his playbook? Robert E. Lee? His whole game plan for, like, how he's going to fight these battles? And a Union soldier finds... Didn't know about that. Never learned that in school. Then again, we didn't learn a lot about the Confederacy in school. It was always like, they did some ugly things. Let's just pretend it never happened. Let's see. Learned a lot about Grant, though. But again, I went to school in Illinois, and Grant's a big player in Illinois. So maybe that's why we learned a lot about Grant. 1899, Henry Bliss in his first... this is an interesting one. In 1899, on this day, Henry Bliss became the first person to do something. 1899. Happens all the time now. As a matter of fact, right now, as I say this, sadly, it's probably happening. It is definitely happening right now. Every second this happens now. But this guy was the absolute first person to ever have this happen to him, and it happened to him in 1899. Henry Bliss, first human known to have died in a car wreck. Congratulations, Henry Bliss. You're car wreck victim number 1. There he is. On this day in 1962, nothing happened for like 63 years. We just jump ahead. 1962, an appeals court orders the University of Mississippi to admit James Meredith, the first African-American student admitted to the segregated university. Oh, boy. Have you ever seen that video? I don't care who you are. Well, actually, it does matter who you are. If you're like a complete vile piece of shit, then, just this is not for you. But any normal person... I mean, you can't watch that video. You can't watch the video of James Meredith being led into the university with, armed white state troopers surrounding him, and then just a line, just a huge crowd of just There's only one way to describe them because it's racial, but just the ugliest, most disgusting, hate-filled white people you've ever seen. It is just a black kid having to be walked into college by armed state troopers who, come on, it's Mississippi. These state troopers probably didn't want to be doing that. These state troopers probably wanted to be in the crowd. All I'm saying is anybody who watches that video and doesn't get like sick to their stomach and go, oh man, come on, man. It's just a kid wanting to learn something. I mean, if you don't, 1962, that happened. Let's see here. And you know what? If you were one of those people in the crowd, like you hear this a lot, my grandpa was in that crowd. Yeah, your grandpa's a piece of shit. Well, no, he was just a man of his times. No, he wasn't. Because during slave times, there were abolitionists. During the 1920s and 30s, when everybody was racist against everybody, there were people who weren't. There were people who were morally grounded, who actually understood that we're all human beings and that we don't have to like everybody. You can look at somebody. Hell, I do it all the time. You can look at somebody and go, I don't like that dude. I don't want to be around that dude. But you know what you have to be? You have to be respectful. You have to be, if you want to be a part of this civilized society that we're trying to create, you got to be respectful, even to people you don't like. And if the reason you don't like them is the color of their hair, the color of their eyes, the color of their skin, you're the one that's in the wrong and you got a little bit of work to do. Just get over yourself, okay? There are different people in this world. You don't have to hang out with them. Here's the great thing. You get to pick your friends. You get to pick the people to hang out with. You don't have to hang out with somebody, and stop being such a little infant that you're triggered by every little thing. But that guy's got funny hair. Oh, shut up. Shut up. You know what? You're ugly. How's that? How do you like that? I'm just telling you that you're not an attractive person. You are offended by his hair. I'm offended by your nose and your ear combination. That is so fucking weird to me. How about we start doing that? We just start calling people out on everything. Again, civilized society requires a civilized society for us all to just be respectful. You don't have to like everybody. Hell, you don't even have to be nice to everybody, but you got to be respectful. What's the difference between respectful and nice? Oh, hell, I don't know. I just want to move on to the next topic. All right, let's go. On this day in 1993, Israeli Prime Minister Yitzhak Rabin shakes hands with Palestinian Liberation Organization Chairman Yasser Arafat at the White House after the signing of the Oslo Accords. And we all know that that's how we got peace in the Middle East. On this day in 1993, peace in the Middle East was achieved. No problem since then. Knock on wood. All right, let's keep going here. We've got 2008 Hurricane Ike here in Texas. Makes landfall, Texas Gulf Coast of the United States, causing heavy damage to Galveston Island and Houston and the surrounding areas. Hurricane Ike doesn't get much play. You don't hear much about Hurricane Ike. I remember Hurricane Ike was a big one, but it hasn't really stood the test of time. So here we are talking about it today. On this day in 2018, the Merrimack Valley gas explosions. I remember this. I remember watching this on the news. This was weird. This sucks. This kind of thing. Are you kidding me? One person is killed, 25 are injured, and 40 homes are destroyed when excessive natural gas pressure causes fires and explosions. This happened outside Boston. And apparently, the gas company wasn't doing their shit. They weren't fixing stuff that needed to be fixed. So there was this ridiculous amount of gas pressure that built up in all the gas lines underneath these houses in a bunch of different neighborhoods, causing all of these houses to explode. One person. God bless that individual, but one person, there were over 80 fires reported within 20 minutes in 3, I don't know what they're called, townships, I guess they were called here, villages. 3 different towns. Boom, house explodes. Everybody rushes over. Across town, house explodes. I mean, it was happening. Boom, boom. I like to look at things that we do today that we rely upon for the way we live our lives. And I like to think, in 200 years, what are the things that we do today that in 200 years people are going to be like, can you believe they did that? Can you believe how stupid they were? I mean, one of them, I think, is smoking in airplanes. Like that we used to allow people to smoke in airplanes. Okay, so we've got this giant hollowed out aluminum tube, and we're going to fill it with some of the most flammable material on the planet. We're just going to fill it with jet fuel. And then we're going to launch it like 30,000 feet in the air and then smoke them if you got them. Just what can go wrong? I mean, come on. That's an obvious one. But I think in 200 years, people are going to be like, can you believe that they used to pipe natural gas into their homes? Oh my God, that is so what we know today in the year 2500 about natural gas. That's crazy. I just think it's one of those things. I think there's a whole bunch of those things. It's like when you see like a picture of the Industrial Revolution and you see like a bunch of like child laborers, like 6 and 7 year olds wearing their overalls on the assembly line smoking cigarettes. It's like we know now that's probably, but back then people were like, that's fine. He's 6 years old. But when you're supposed to start smoking, that's like kind of how the attitude was. And now we look back at those people and we laugh. There are a whole bunch of things that we do today. Cell phones up to the face. Can you believe that people were just sticking radiation right up to their face? And then, we're only like, 25 years into this cell phone thing? People should be dropping of cell phone cancer by now, right? Maybe we dodged that bullet. Maybe that one didn't happen. All right. Let's see here. Boy, my mic is really picking up my deep breaths. I was feeling sick last night. I was feeling real sick last night. As a matter of fact, after we finished the show at 10 o'clock, I was asleep by 10:15. I went directly to sleep. I just went to bed and fell. I woke up today. I'm still not feeling great. I don't know what it is. You know what? I do. I think I know what it is. I think it's anxiety. I know. So, let's talk about mental health. So I talk about my depression a lot. And one of the things that I have a touch of with the depression is anxiety. And I've just got a lot going on right now at the moment. So I think maybe that's it. I think last night when we were doing pillow talk and I sat down, it was the first time in probably 3 or 4 days. It's been a busy 3 or 4 days. Not physically. I'm not out there, I'm not out there like building additions on homeless people's, structures. I'm just got a lot going on. So I think the anxiety hit me yesterday. I think I had an anxiety attack last night. That's what I'm trying to get to. And I haven't had an anxiety attack in 10 years. I had a big one like 10 years ago, but I think I'm okay now. I don't know. The reason I bring it up is because I'm starting to feel a little bit of flop sweat again. Let's get into some birthdays. Let's talk about the people who were born on this day. Roald Dahl, British novelist, Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, Matilda, James and the Giant Peach, the BFG, BFG, right? Big friendly giant, big friendly giant, something like that. Roald Dahl, born on this day in 1916. Ray Charles, born on this day in 1918. Ray Charles died in 2015. I didn't realize he had come so close to hitting 100. It was 100 years. Never saw a thing. Never 100 years of being blind. Well, I guess if you have nothing to compare it to, then, you're like, well, this has been my life. This has been my entire understanding of the world. I'm closing my eyes like somehow brings me closer to the experience Ray Charles had in 100 years of being blind. David Clayton Thomas, born on this day in 1941. Blood, Sweat, and Tears, right? What goes up? Born on this day in 1944. Peter Cetera, American singer, songwriter, bass player, and producer. Peter Cetera was a solo artist. He was also in the band Chicago. He did all of the... there are numerous documentaries out about how the people... it's funny. There were two bands and they're from like the same area, but not area, but like the same like part of town in Chicago, Styx and Chicago. And both bands sort of had the same problem with their lead singer. Styx famously had their issues with Dennis DeYoung wanting to be all weird and Mr. Roboto, where the rest of the guys in Styx just wanted to rock. It was sort of the same thing with Peter Cetera. Peter Cetera realized early on in his career, there was like 50 guys in the band Chicago. Peter Cetera wasn't even the only singer, but he was one of the singer of their biggest hits. And this is what happened. He had a hit with like the most schmaltzy, and this is early 70s, the most schmaltzy wedding song of all time. It's just like a really, And so they started cranking those out. They started cranking out these like love ballads. And all of a sudden the band became the love ballad band. And all the guys in the band were like, we don't want to do this. We've got like a Tower of Power level horn section. We have some of the greatest musicians. And if you've ever heard the Chicago song 25 or 6-4, that's what they wanted to sound like. That's what the other 49 guys in the band wanted to sound like. but they've started making all kinds of money with Hold Me Now. I really want to tell you I'm sorry. And they're like, oh, God, you got to get out of here. So Peter Cetera was kicked out of the band. Born on this day in 1948, Nell Carter. Nell Carter, give me a break. Nell Carter's dead. I didn't know she was dead. Died in 2003. Born on this day in 1951. We'll mention her again because she won an Emmy last night. But with the Emmy win, I think this is now, wow, she's won a bunch of them. I used to say that she is encroaching upon national treasure territory. Last night, she might have crossed over. I don't know. We had a couple of national treasures that we saw yesterday at the Emmys. But happy birthday to Jean Smart. Jean Smart, who I love. God, do I love Jean Smart. And not just because of Hacks, because Hacks is really good, which is what she won for. HBO Max, Hacks. She plays a Joan Rivers type character who's kind of at the end of her career. Fargo. She did, I want to say season 2 or season 3 of Fargo, where she played a mom who was the head of like a mafia family. Oh, she was so good. Jean Smart is so good. And in Frasier, she was so good on Frasier. I never watched Designing Woman, so happy birthday to you, Jean Smart. Who doesn't love Jean Smart? Born on this day in 1952, Randy Jones. Randy Jones. You know who Randy Jones is? Here, this guy. Yeah, I'll show you Randy Jones. Why not? Well, need a little bit more tracking room for my my mouse here. All right, Randy Jones. Look at this guy. Tell me this guy didn't make you smile. Randy Jones makes everybody smile. You just this guy. I know you're like, who the hell's Randy Jones? Well, I'll tell you who Randy Jones is. Here you go. Look at this guy. Boom. Randy Jones. That's right. He's the cowboy from the Village People. Cowboy from the Village People celebrating a birthday today. I don't know how old he is. Look at that guy. He's probably like, what do you think he is there? Well, what is he now? So if he was born in I didn't want to do math. I'm going to have to do math. I didn't want to dedicate this much time to Randy Jones. Oh, 70. He's 70. It was actually easy. I didn't have to do math. He's 70 today. Look at him. Still got the cowboy hat. Boy, I'll tell you. That guy, Randy Jones. When I was little and I didn't know much about the life, I loved the Village People. I remember around about 1977. I was like 8 years old. So I remember Dick Clark's New Year's Rockin' Eve. Boy, I couldn't wait to see the Village People. I didn't know. I was 7. I didn't know that it was like, I didn't care. I was 7. I didn't, you know what I mean? And then, of course, the older men in my life, you know what they are, don't you? I don't care. I'm 7. Why are you filling my head with this garbage? I don't need this. I don't care. Also born on this day, celebrating a birthday, born in 1961, Dave Mustaine. Dave Mustaine of Metallica, kicked out of Metallica, formed Megadeth. I'm trying to think of what I know about Dave Mustaine. Not a whole lot. All right, born on this day in 1969, Tyler Perry, American actor, director, producer, and screenwriter, one of the most powerful people in Hollywood. Boy, Tyler Perry is just like, where did he come from? Just all of a sudden we had Tyler Perry. There was a world that I lived in that had no Tyler Perrys, and then there was one, and he was everywhere. Born on this day in 1965, Zach Starkey, English drummer Zach Starkey, son of Ringo Starr, a Beatle birthday. Born on this day in 1971, Stella McCartney, another Beatle baby. Look at that. Ringo and Paul both have kids with birthdays on the same day, although Ringo's boy is a little bit older. Born on this day in 1977, Fiona Apple. Okay, so if she's born in 1977, when I think of Fiona Apple, I always think of her as like 17 years old, 18 years old. Remember, she was young. I've been a bad, bad girl. Fiona Apple, she was awesome. How old is she? What is she? Okay, so, oh God, now we're doing math. 20, 30. She's 45 years old? No way. Fiona Apple is 45 years. I'm going to check my math on that. 35. I would believe 30. Well, I guess I'm old, so whatever. All right, let's go through some deaths. Some deaths that occurred on this day. Titus. Look, the only reason I mentioned this, 81, the year 81. I mentioned this because every year I go through the deaths or every day, and just about every day there's a Roman Empire. So I figured, start mentioning Roman empires when they die. Titus, Roman Empire, Emperor of Rome. He died. 1987, Mervyn LeRoy died. You know who Mervyn LeRoy is? You know the name. Everybody knows the name. Wizard of Oz. He's the guy, Mervyn LeRoy's Wizard of Oz. That's why we know. He's a movie producer. He's dead. He died on this day in 87. Dead on this day in 1996, Tupac Shakur, American rapper, producer, and actor. I recently learned something new. This, the whole Tupac and Biggie thing, like who's responsible and all that stuff. Just a couple of days ago, over the weekend, I was reading an article. I'm rewatching The Shield, and I started to do a bit of a deep dive on the base story for The Shield TV show, which is the Rampart scandal in Los Angeles. The Rampart scandal was a police corruption scandal. And that's what The Shield is based on. The story of The Shield is based on a strike team in the Rampart section of Los Angeles and the horrible stuff that they did. So I was reading about that, and it turns out that is a part of the Rampart scandal. Two of the strike team officers in real life are believed to be the shooters responsible for killing Biggie Smalls in retaliation for, it's so messed up. I don't know, whatever. Can we get the QAnon people to maybe focus on Tupac exclusively? Let's figure that out. Let's get that, because, we got the Kennedy assassination, and now we got the Tupac and Biggie thing. Dead on this day in 2006, Ann Richards, American educator and politician. She was the 45th governor of Texas. Ann Richards died in 2006 on this day. I always point to Ann Richards because she's not too distant. But, when people are like, Texas can't be blue, I'm like, they loved Ann Richards. They elected Ann Richards. She was a popular governor. She was a nationwide figure. She was a ballsy broad. People liked her. She knew how to play the game. She knew how to be a strong Texas woman. And she was a very progressive individual. Now, not crazy progressive. Like, she wasn't like super progressive, but for Texas, she was pretty progressive. So when people say Texas could never go blue again, I'm like, who do you think voted for Ann Richards? 60-year-olds. Those people, they can be won back. They can be dealt with. They can be, so don't be so. All my conservative friends are like, Texas is never going. I'm like, yeah, they will. That's the other thing is Texas will never legalize weed. I'm like, man. Let me tell you something about Texas. One thing that I know about Texans is if you tell them that they can't have something, they're going to have that thing. They're going to make it okay. So don't tell me that you don't think that there'll ever be a non-conservative governor of Texas again, or that legalization will never happen here, because it will. And Texans like weed. Seriously. That's like the thing that Beto is making the most traction on. His weed, his legalizing weed in Texas. Because even people who are like, crazy Fox News watching dudes, they like to smoke a little. They like to take the edge off. You know what I mean? So they have to now weigh, well, what would be the good and the bad? Okay, so if I vote for Beto, which I won't tell anybody about, but if I vote for Beto because I want the legalization thing, because I don't want to go to, I'm tired of being a criminal. I'm tired of having to stash my weed in the car when I pick it up from the guy. It's ridiculous. Why am I a criminal here, but I'm a part of a booming economy if I'm in California or Illinois or New York or Colorado or Las Vegas? Why is that? So that guy that's an issue that people, they pull the blind and they go, you know what, I'm going to vote on this one. Same with abortion for the other side. Abortion was that issue on the other side. Moses Malone died on this day in 2015, and I didn't know he was dead. I had no idea that basketball NBA legend Moses Malone was dead. Died on this day in 2015. Died on this day in 2019. This one sucks. This guy was awesome. Eddie Money. 2 tickets to paradise. Take me home to. She was shaking. Whoa, whoa, whoa. I love me some Eddie Money. I love it. He did an ID for us once. We had Eddie Money in studio. We had him in studio twice because he used to play every year the Addison, whatever that big giant, 200,000 people in Addison, whatever that massive, not Kaboom Town, but something else, some Beer Fest, Oktoberfest, maybe something like that. I don't know. He did an ID for our old show that it still makes me laugh when I think about it because he just brought the full Eddie Money energy. He was like, "Hey, it's Eddie Money." I mean, it just makes me. I liked Eddie Money. He was a nice man. What a nice guy. And dead today. This one just happened a few hours ago. It's being reported and it's trending, so we'll get into it more. Dead on this day, Jean-Luc Godard, French, Swiss film director. L'Enfant Terrible. That's what he was known as. French director. Well, I guess he was Swiss. Is there a difference between Swiss and French? Don't they share a border? Isn't it like the difference between Indiana and Ohio, right? It's like the same thing, basically. All right, so we'll talk about him. I do like to say that though. That's what he was known as. L'Enfant Terrible. Terrible baby. Terrible baby. That's what it means. He's just a terrible baby about everything. L'Enfant Terrible. Let's get into what is trending today. Well, we'll talk more about Jean-Luc Godard, although not that much because I'm not a big fan of New Wave cinema. Inflation is trending. Inflation cooled slightly in August as sliding gas prices offset rising costs elsewhere in the economy. So, okay, whatever. I went shopping yesterday and I was shocked by the price of cheese. That's right, cheese. I went, what? How did cheese get so expensive in the last 2 weeks? Whistleblower, big story about Twitter going on today. There was a whistleblower who was testifying, or actually, I don't know, he might be done by now, or maybe he's back in. I don't know. Former security head of Twitter is testifying that Twitter doesn't give a shit about your security. Twitter does not, they could care about your security, but that would lead to some issues with advertising revenue, and Twitter is unwilling to give up on the advertising revenue. So basically, this guy was brought into Twitter to shore up the security, not to make it better, but to make people okay with the idea that Twitter security was shit. That was basically what he's testifying to. He's saying that I wasn't even brought in to do anything because if I were to do anything, it would affect the income from advertising sales. That is what he is sitting there talking about. Peter Mudge Zatko is his name. Appearing before a Senate Judiciary Committee today. Now, all of that sounds very interesting, except that you learned like months ago. I don't even know if it was months ago. When was it? Let me see if I can find this story real quick. Anyway, he was fired. He was fired from Twitter for being incompetent. I mean, the words that Twitter used when they fired him were like, this guy sucks. This guy does not. Now, that may have been their attitude because he, as he is testifying today, was kind of a problem when it came to, we got to do something about security, right? That was his whole thing. But also, it could just be, he got fired because he's a dick and now he's doing what dicks do, which is just be a big bitch about it. I don't know. Who knows? Hear what he has to say. I don't care, though. What does Twitter have? What does Twitter have on me? A couple of shit takes? I mean, I don't know what I'm worried about with Twitter security. I don't know. I mean, I don't do my banking through Twitter. I don't have my credit card. No, I just. All right. So, but hey, it's an issue. It's an issue for greater minds than me. Blue Origin put up a rocket today. It was the second launch of their Shepard rocket. They launched it and it went boom, blowed up real good. Didn't work. Yeah, I could show it to you. You want to watch a rocket explode? We'll watch a rocket explode. We can do that here. We got time. We're not doing anything else today. Although, I was thinking, hopefully this will work. All right. Patience is a virtue. They're going to make us watch a commercial? I don't want to watch a stupid-ass commercial. All right, hold on. It's like a commercial for Axe body spray or something. There you go. right, so far so good.
Mission Control confirms the Shepard has cleared the tower and
it really does look like a penis. And oops.
Whoa.
It appears to have experienced an anomaly with today's flight.
Yeah, it appears.
Okay, that anomaly, that was a Blue Origin rocket experiencing a booster failure during a launch.
Wasn't really worth it, was it? You know, it didn't explode like it just kind of went, eh. It was unmanned. There was nobody in there. So good thing. They must have known something was weird. But hey, that's why they try. You got to try it, right? You got to see if it works. Robert Sarver is trending. Robert Sarver is the owner of the Phoenix Suns. The Phoenix Suns have been under investigation internally by the NBA for some bad behavior, alleged bad behavior on the part of their owner. This is the Donald Sterling is trending too because of this. He has been Robert Sarver, president of the Suns, owner of the Suns, has been banned from the NBA for 1 year. He's also in charge of the Phoenix Mercury, which is the WNBA team. He's not allowed to go to any games, not allowed to be on the property of any Suns building. He's not allowed to go to any NBA events. It's 1 entire year. Robert Sarver, president of the Phoenix Suns, has to sit out. Can't have anything to do with anything. So there you go. What did he do? On 5 separate occasions, the NBA investigator confirmed that with multiple witnesses that Sarver had used the N-word at least 5 times. But here's the thing. In all 5 instances, he was simply quoting the words of somebody else. In 2 instances, he was reciting rap lyrics. So it's not like Donald Sterling, who we have on tape, telling his mistress, I don't want you hanging out with those N's, when he owned a basketball team, which is, really bad luck for a guy who owns a basketball team. This was him going, in other words, there were no accusations that he used the word from a first person perspective pejoratively. He didn't say like, oh, I hate that N, or, that's what happens when we hire these N's, all of the ugly things that like a Donald Sterling said on tape. We heard Donald Sterling. I don't remember the exact tape, but it was rough. So, he's been suspended for a year. He's not going to be forced to sell the team the way they did with Sterling. But there you go. That's why Sarver in the... Now, I'm not defending him. I'm just saying the context. Context is important. First of all, he should know better, right? Like, don't ever say, like, I just don't say it. I just don't say it. I just don't say it. First of all, I'm not compelled to say it anyway. It's not a word that I like use. It's not in my bag of colorful words to describe things or people, right? So I'm not really worried about ever slipping with that word. But even if I was like being like telling a story and really getting into the story, and then I was saying with somebody, I wouldn't say that word. I wouldn't go, and then he goes, look at all these, I wouldn't do that. So for this guy to have that level of comfort, I don't know. Suspended for a year. Got to do something. Alex Jones is trending again. Always like to cover this nonsense. Alex Jones is trending because he's going to court again, this time in Connecticut, a couple of months back. No, I think it was the end of June. He was convicted, or not convicted, but he was found liable for damages of $50 million against one Sandy Hook family. That was a Texas jury that awarded that a couple of months ago. $50 million. Now he's got to go to Connecticut, where he is really looking at some problems, because this ain't Texas. This is Connecticut. This is where Sandy Hook happened. This is a much different battleground. And in Texas, it was just one family. He was being held liable for his words and how they affected one family. In Connecticut, it's 15. It's 15. It's 50. A whole bunch of people are suing him in Connecticut. It's all been pushed into one. So if the people in Texas awarded one family $50 million for the things that Alex Jones said about their tragedy, what's going to happen with 15? You can't just have one family making 50 million and then 15 families having to split like 50 million, right? Like there's going to be. So this is a big one. This is a big one that they've had. This is the case that they were most concerned about. This is the case that they say is the reason for the bankruptcy. InfoWars has filed for bankruptcy protection. This is the one that's going to take everything down, or at least should it come in the family's favor, it will certainly be devastating to Alex Jones and all that he has built. And I just couldn't be happier about that. Just couldn't be happier. You make your money that way. You know what? Screw you, you dick. Yeah, anything bad that happens to you, I'm not going to cry one tear for you. Jimmy Kimmel is trending. Jimmy Kimmel's trending because everybody's mad at him because he did a joke last night on the Emmy Awards. Abbott Elementary, which is a wonderful show. I've never seen it, but everybody's talking about what a great show it is. And it won for Best Comedy Writing last night. I've never seen it. It's an ABC show. I don't watch ABC sitcoms. It looks just, based on what I know, I've not seen a minute of the show, but based on the fact that it's a bunch of kids, it's about an elementary school. It's on ABC, it's like a network sitcom. I have had no interest in this show. However, I think that's got to change. I think people are saying Abbott Elementary is a really good show. So it won. And the star, creator, and writer of the show comes up to accept her award. Now, it's important. I typically know that, but she's a black lady, and it's important to point that out because it's Black Twitter who is coming after Jimmy Kimmel. Yeah, for those of you who aren't on Twitter, there are different kinds of Twitters. Like any subgroup, has their own mob on Twitter. There's Black Twitter, there's gay Twitter, there's Irish Twitter. We learned about Irish Twitter when the Queen died. We learned about that. So all of these. Black Twitter has come after Jimmy Kimmel because I'm sorry, what is the woman's name? I should know her name. She won an award last night, and she's apparently got this terrific show, so I should probably show her some respect. Quinta Brunson, that's her name, Quinta Brunson. Quinta Brunson wins. She comes up on stage. It's her big moment. And Jimmy Kimmel, who had given the award, who said, and the winner was engaged in a bit with, was it Bill Hader? Before awarding her the trophy. So he's engaged in this bit, and he passed out. I didn't watch it. I don't know. I think the joke was that Bill Hader said he was drunk. Jimmy Kimmel was drunk. So I don't know. I got to go watch it. At any rate, he laid down on the stage, on the floor of the stage. Jimmy Kimmel did. He committed to the bit. He was laying there for a full 3 minutes, and he was laying there on the stage the entire time that Quinta Brunson was giving her acceptance speech. And people are like, that's disrespectful. He stole her moment. And he did to a degree. And I think that, it was unfortunate for him that it was a black woman who was standing there because, he's a white man and he did something that could be by some people seen as a white man trying to take the spotlight away from a black. That's what they're saying. And I look at that and I go, well, if you are wired that way, if you are the kind of person who sees that situation and the first thing you go to is racist white man trying to upstage a black one. I mean, I can see it if that's how you're wired. However, if you're normal, if you're a normal person, what you saw was a comedian who went for a joke and then rode the bit out to the end. Okay. He wasn't chewing up scenery down there. I mean, I guess we were looking at him because, that's weird. The Jimmy Kimmel is laying on the floor and not moving, but he wasn't making noises. He wasn't flopping around. She wasn't in the middle of this beautiful speech. And then suddenly the audience laughed because Jimmy did something. I mean, I don't know. Maybe I got to watch it. You know what? I'm just kind of, maybe I got to watch it. Because now that I'm thinking, I only saw a small clip that people were talking over. So, but I don't know. Jimmy Kimmel's now a racist who hates black women? Really? Come on, man. Just stop it. But congratulations to Quinta Brunson. She good for her. Good for you, Quinta. You did it, girl. Now I'm going to watch an episode. I'm going to watch the pilot episode of Abbott Elementary tonight. I said after I saw that it won, I'm like, okay, all right, I'll check that out. What else do we have here? I won't be watching Jimmy Kimmel tonight, though, because I don't watch talk shows. what is it, 1985? Why am I watching a late night talk show? Do you know what else is out there? The whole reason that we watched Johnny Carson, David Letterman, whomever every night at 10:30 was because we couldn't sleep and there wasn't anything else on. That's why. That's what it was. That was layup programming. That's what it was. It was, there's hardly going to be anybody watching. Everybody goes to bed anyway. It's late night. We'll just throw this on. It was layup programming. And I don't watch it anymore. Because if you are right now still watching late night television, it's because you're programmed. That's it. You are programmed. That's what you do. That's what you've always done. News is over. You're probably in your 60s or 70s. News is over. Now I'm going to watch a little bit of Jimmy Fallon. Or I'm going to watch a little bit. That is not how people watch TV anymore. It's just not. Like, I struggled with this too because, I'm a big TV guy. Oh, and we'll see when we get to the Emmys. I got a whole Emmy thing. I got hot takes on all these shows. We'll get to those. I struggled with the changeover for a couple of years of how to watch TV. Appointment viewing, which is what we were all raised on, which means Tuesdays at 7, right? That's appointment viewing. You want to see something, you've got an appointment to be in front of a TV at that time, at that day. That is I have not engaged in appointment viewing since Sunday. Yeah, that's right. Sunday. That's true. Football. Live sporting events, I think, are the only thing that I watch anymore that would be considered appointment viewing. I have a monitor with news on it that is constantly streaming. So I can glance up and I can look and I can see if, the world is exploding. But other than that, man, everything is on demand. I'm an on-demand watcher. It's not, let me see what's on. Let me see what I can watch. It's, what do I want to watch? I can watch anything in the world right now. I had trouble with that changeover, but now it's like natural. Anyway, I don't watch late night television. I don't think anybody does. Late night talk shows. Johnny Carson's worst night of viewership, like the night in, let's just take a random year, 1982. Johnny Carson's lowest viewed show of 1982 would probably be 3 times the size of the audience for the biggest talk shows of today combined. Their biggest shows. The biggest show of Jimmy Kimmel's year, plus the biggest show of Jimmy Fallon's year, plus the biggest show of Stephen Colbert's year. Combine all of that viewership number. I bet it's half of what Johnny Carson's least watched show in 1982 was. When there was 5 channels and everybody was watching the same damn thing. It's just not that anymore. It's not that. All right. What else do we have here? I talked about this last night. This is Ramsey Lewis has passed away. Ramsey Lewis, great jazz piano player. In addition to be this global icon of jazz, the Ramsey Lewis Trio and all that good stuff, he was a long-time radio disc jockey. He was sort of the Howard Stern of the new or smooth jazz radio format. I say Howard Stern because he was syndicated all over. Like he had a whole, like if you had a smooth jazz station in your town, you probably had Ramsey Lewis as your morning guy. I got to know him a little bit in the 90s, briefly, and just fell in love with the guy. Just what a cool ass guy. Just like the coolest, just an old jazz man. Just like, I don't know how old he was. He's probably like 100 now. He seemed like he was 90, 20 years ago, but just a really cool guy. And the world lost someone very cool. Ramsey Lewis passed away yesterday. Passing away this morning, Jean-Luc Godard. We talked about that. He was already listed by Wikipedia as having died on this day in 2022, which, hey, that's now. Jean-Luc Godard, l'enfant, he was the god of French New Wave cinema. So like between like 1961 and like 1967, right? There was like this 6-year period where Hollywood was really struggling. Hollywood was really they were still doing like Otto Preminger epics, the Ten Commandments, and all the big, still struggling with the Hollywood studio system. And you had all of these aging icons of that era, but then you also had their children. You had the stoic and much beloved American treasure of Henry Fonda. But now look, now you got his hippie kids coming in trying to, make movies, and they ain't like Henry. So Hollywood was in this very different sort of thing. And basically they made a lot of shit movies for about 6 years there in the middle of the 60s. They were terrible. They looked like movies from the 1940s and the 1950s. We hadn't yet seen the Easy Riders or the Five Easy Pieces, or these kinds of movies that really changed the way American cinema became in the 1970s. The 1970s was a sea change for American cinema. We started to see different kinds of movies. And the reason we started to see these different kinds of movies is because of people like Jean-Luc Godard, L'Enfant Terrible, who was making these new wave French movies that were more realistic, more gritty, less, Doris Day and Rock Hudson pretending like they're in love, right? Less that and more, whoa, I saw a boob, it changed everything. He died today. He was really important. Just to put it into perspective, both Rolling Stone and Time Magazine rated him as the 5th greatest film director of all time. Of all time. 5. Jean-Luc Godard, 5. Time Magazine. Sound and Vision, which is a very big nerd for nerds who are into movies and all that kind of stuff. Sound and Vision called him the 3rd greatest director of all time. And by the way, these are not things that they just said today hearing about his death. That Sound and Vision thing came out in like 2005, and Time Magazine named him that in 2011. So Jean-Luc Godard, you may not be familiar. Breathless. I think Breathless is probably the one, because everything else was in French with subtitles, Breathless was the one. Breathless was remade, right? Wasn't Breathless remade in the 1980s with Richard Gere and, I don't know, some girl who was probably the prettiest girl in the world for 6 months in 1989, who we don't even know her name anymore. No, actually, now I'm trying to think. Wasn't it Richard Gere? Didn't the remake... trying to think. Was it Richard Gere's wife? Not Richard Gere, Johnny Depp's wife. Didn't Johnny Depp, wasn't it Vanessa Paradis maybe? I don't know. Whatever. I don't care. Jean-Luc Godard is dead. Downers Grove. This is one that's funny. I saw this trending this morning and I'm like, why the hell is Downers Grove trending? Downers Grove is trending. Downers Grove is a suburb in Chicago, outside the western suburbs. I'm very familiar with Downers Grove. Spent a lot of time in Downers Grove. So it was trending. So I'm like, why is Downers Grove trending? Oh, geez. All right, so let's get into this, right? We don't like to do a whole lot of politically divisive stuff here because I don't give a shit about how you vote. And you shouldn't care how I vote either. Those are secret ballots, right? That's why we have a curtain. And I don't like the culture wars because I find a lot of the culture wars to be stupid, right? There's no war on Christmas. I say fucking Christmas all the time. Merry Christmas. Nobody goes, ah! No, that's not a real thing that happens in the real world. So I hate all the culture wars and all that kind of stuff. But this is a new thing now. Apparently, this is happening. Downers Grove, Illinois, is trending today because the Downers Grove Public Library. I'm gonna take a breath before I go into this because I don't want to say anything that I don't mean because I'm being performative or whatever. So I want to. But this irritates me. Downers Grove Public Library cancels drag bingo event after cascade of threats. The town's public library, okay, is having a drag bingo event for teens. They didn't put that in the headline. Yeah, it's for teens. It's for kids between the ages of like 8th grade and seniors in high school. It is a drag bingo event for LGBTQ students who, want to just have a little fun and a place to go, a safe space, if you will, that whole thing. And people got mad. People, not normal people. Here's me. I consider myself a normal person, right? So if I'm just taking a stroll in lovely Downers Grove is lovely. If I'm taking a stroll down one of the beautiful tree-lined streets and I pass by the library and I see a sign on the library that says "Today only teen drag bingo," I would roll my eyes and continue walking. And that would be the extent of my consternation or upset over this news. But no, not everybody's normal like us. Most people wouldn't think twice about any of this. However, apparently a whole bunch of people, I'm going to blow up the library, whatever. These are not normal people. I don't give a shit if you roll your eyes when you hear about drag bingo, as I did. Fine. They want to play bingo, let them go play. That's my whole attitude on it. I don't care. But if you're compelled to pick up the phone and threaten the lives of people that you don't know, you're fucking nuts, man. You people, honestly, I don't have an opinion on drag bingo. All right. I think it's stupid. If I was running the library and somebody said, we want to do drag bingo for teens who want to dress like if somebody brought that up, I'd go, as guy who runs the library, I'd go, what year is it? Have you been paying attention? What are you trying to do? You trying to get me fired? Because I will lose my job if I do something this unnecessarily antagonistic towards the crazy people out there. And that's what it is. This was an antagonist. No, it's not. We're just trying to normalize it. No, you're not. You're being needlessly antagonistic. This is a library. This is where there will literally be small children of crazy parents. Okay? Why are you doing this here? You want to have a drag bingo thing for teens. You do it at a place that maybe isn't taxpayer supported. Maybe you do it at a place that could be a little bit more private. Maybe you rent out a banquet room or something and charge these kids $1 to get it. I don't know. But this is the dumbest freaking story. I don't want the person who said, I don't want the person who okayed this at the Downers Grove Public Library to lose their job or to have anything terrible happen to them. But I do want to say that they're shitty at their job. They are really dumb at reading the tea leaves. They are really dumb at understanding what kinds of things you need to stay away from in this particular climate. And I'm not even saying that this is something that we need. We can readdress it in 6 months. Let's readdress it in 6 months. But right now, the summer of kid drag show controversies, come on. Give you the story. Downers Grove, Illinois, the Downers Grove Public Library announced Monday they've been forced to cancel an October drag bingo event for LGBTQ teens after threats were made against them. The threats are being investigated by police. They said they were forced to cancel the event as the threats made it impossible for them to provide a safe space for their staff, attendees, and performers. To all the teens who registered for our event and community members in support of this event, we are sorry that drag queen bingo cannot happen at this time. We are determined to find additional ways to support you and your friends in a safe, fun, and inclusive representation throughout our library. We stand by the event and Aurora Divine. Apparently, Aurora Divine is this local drag impersonator of some note. They speak of her like she's, What's the rule with drag queens? What's the rule? I called her a she. I was trying to be respectful of the whole trans thing. But as I understand it, not all drag performers consider themselves trans. So I don't know. What is Aurora Divine? I guess I'm talking about Aurora Divine, the character. And in character, she is a woman, or is Aurora Divine a character of a man dressing as well? I don't even know. But I just called her she because, you see, I'm trying to be respectful. Aurora Divine. It's funny because the next town over is Aurora, Illinois. The library announced it would host an event on October 11th called Drag Queen Bingo, set to coincide with National Coming Out Day. It was geared toward 7th to 12th grade students. All right, so that right there is more stupidity. That is so stupid. We're having a party and we're inviting everybody from 7th grade to seniors in high school. No senior in high school wants to hang out with a 7th grader, okay? This is dumb. This is stupid. You should have one for high school kids and one for elementary school kids. And does a seventh grader? Yeah, actually, yeah, a seventh grader does. So I'm working through all this live. Okay, I'm just going to say, does a seventh grader even know if they're trans? I mean, I don't know because I never experienced that. I never went through that, so I don't have any kind. When did I know that I was? I don't know. I guess I've always known that I was a boy. I was told I was a little, although I had long hippie hair as a little kid. And I do remember men coming up to me as a small boy going, "Are you a boy or a girl? You look like a little girl." Like, just like little asshole dudes. I remember one guy came up to me in a bathroom. I was like 6 years old. I'm in the bathroom, and this guy starts looking at me. And he's like, "Yeah, I don't know if you're a little, you in the right bathroom? What are you?" This is a grown-ass man. I'm like 6 years old. And he's like yelling at me for having long hair. I'm like, fuck you, you dick. That guy's dead. You know what? That guy's dead now. That guy's probably dead now. Good for him. If I was 6 and he was 40, he's dead. Hopefully. Okay, so the people who oppose the drag queen show at the library say that it's those who oppose it say a drag show is by definition sexual in nature and does not belong in a taxpayer-funded setting. I agree. I don't know that I would say that it does not belong. Belong. Okay, we can argue about that. It shouldn't be. It shouldn't be happening at a taxpayer-funded place simply because of the climate we find ourselves in. You have enough trouble with private businesses doing this, right? A private business. A dude owns a bar and he says, "I want to have a drag show on a Saturday afternoon." He's got people outside screaming and yelling about it. What do you think's going to happen at a taxpayer library, at a library that's funded by the event? One of more than 900 events the library hosts each year, costs $125 to put on, an amount that they say had already been covered by a donor. All right. I don't know. It's a weird world, man. And I use the word weird just because it's to me, having grown up and the time that I did and the life experience that I have, and things are weird. Like I get it. I get when you see like an old Fox News watching man go, "There's only two genders." Like I get that. I get that guy feeling that way because there kind of is. Like there's only two natural genders. Now that doesn't mean that there isn't something else going on, that there isn't some sort of wiring thing. You know, all of that. I have an open mind for all of that stuff. But, you know, people are either born, if we assign gender based upon genitalia, then yeah, I mean there's only two options there that God made available to us. Although maybe again, don't use God, don't bring God into this because you know God also made it available the miswiring and whatever it is that these people are going through. So can't just cherry pick what God's responsible for. He's got his finger on all of it. I just don't. I don't know. It just seems like I can't get over the fact that there was a meeting at the public library in Downers Grove and somebody pitched this and the person in charge of the library was like, "Yeah, that's fine. Let's have 7th grade boys dressed like girls on a Saturday afternoon." There should be no blowback from that. I mean, fire that person. No, don't fire him. Don't fire. You said don't fire him. I know, don't fire him. But he's bad at it. They, because I don't know if it's a guy or a girl. They're bad at their job. That's just not so stupid. Just dumb. What else do we have here? Also trending today. Let's see. Well, we are making our way through this stuff, aren't we? Alabama. You know the band Alabama? I don't know any Alabama songs. What's an Alabama song? You guys know any Alabama song? I mean, I know they're huge. They're like, you know, Country Music Hall of Fame, and they were really big. But off the top of my head, I can't really think of, like, what would the signature Alabama song? They do that song, "Play Me Some Mountain Music." Is that them? Is that Alabama? I don't know. Teddy Gentry got popped for weed. He's one of the founding members, bass player. He was caught in Alabama, one of them states that ain't legal. He got caught with weed. Of course, the dudes in Alabama smoke weed. Everybody in country music in the 70s smoked weed. everybody. Country music was it was like hip hop. It was like weed was as big in country music in the 70s and 80s as it is today in hip hop. I don't know if it still is, with all of the like, because country music is like really lame. It's like they got rid of all the super cool people and they just moved in like all of these nerds and dorks and youth pastor types. It's like it's very, come on, man, give me a Waylon, give me some Merle Haggard, give me a Willie Nelson, give me that whole Texas Austin outlaw scene. That's anyway. Teddy Gentry bailed out after a half hour. He'll be fine. 70 years old, Alabama bassist. I'm sure he's got money for a lawyer. He's good. Mexican pizza is trending. Mexican pizza. Now, Mexican pizza has been trending off and on for the better part of a year now. Taco Bell brought it back in April, but only for the month of April. And then they got rid of it. And everybody was like, what happened to Mexican pizza? And they were like, it was just a temporary thing. And everybody's like, no, not temporary. And today, Taco Bell's like, full-time Mexican pizza. Mexican pizza is back. Mexican pizza. Mexican pizza will be added to the menu of Taco Bell's. It says here is starting Thursday. Yeah. Mexican pizza. It's a permanent menu. The I don't know, the king, the hunchback of Taco Bell, whoever the guy that's in charge of Taco Bell is, he says it's permanent. It's not going away. It's here for good. I've never had Mexican pizza at Taco Bell. Everybody says it's crazy. It's crazy good. I've never had it. I don't even know. I had Mexican pizza at Shakey's. I used to go to Shakey's because they had a pizza buffet when I was a little kid, and they had Mexican pizza there, and it was so good. It was so good. Shakey's Mexican pizza. Actually, no, it wasn't called Mexican pizza. It was taco pizza. It was Shakey's taco pizza. It was so good. Oh, man, I used to love that taco pizza. I used to put a little dollop of sour cream on there. Oh, it was the best. The best. Basically like really kick-ass nachos, just except for a chip. It's just like a little piece of crusty pizza. It's good. Kangaroo is trending. A kangaroo killed a guy in Australia. Yeah. Did you know they could? I did a deep dive this morning on kangaroo violence. Woo! Woo-hoo! We have been misled about kangaroos, people. Kangaroos are not friendly. Kangaroos are neither friendly nor nice. As a matter of fact, they're really aggressive. They're one of the most aggressive animals in the wild. They are they are wild animals. They stand. The average height of a kangaroo is like 4'6", and they're about 130, 140 pounds, something like that. But here's how they. You want to know how kangaroos kill you? And it doesn't happen a lot. Like people don't get killed by kangaroos all the time. It's why it's trending here because it's rare. And this was a kangaroo in captivity. This was a guy who had a kangaroo as a pet. And okay, so I learned how kangaroos kill you. You want to hear how kangaroos kill you? Oh, God, does it sound awful? Woo! Okay, so a kangaroo takes its little kangaroo arms, its little arms, and the kangaroo will grapple with you with those arms. So the kangaroo will basically like put its arms around your neck. So now the kangaroo is like hanging off you, right? And at this point, the kangaroo uses its tail. Have you ever seen a kangaroo tail? Kangaroo tail is like the size of Earl Campbell's thigh, right? I mean, it's like massive. And so, so it's got you in a grapple with its little kangaroo hands. And then it rocks back on its tail and basically just sits on its tail and then kicks its legs, its big, powerful kangaroo legs that it uses to hop and do all of that stuff. So it's got you behind the neck, it's rocked back on its tail, and then it kicks its legs up into you and basically kicks through you. Basically, because they're clawed, they have like razor blades on their claw. Kangaroos are not to be messed with. And they just kick and kick and kick and kick and kick, and they don't let go until your whole inside is like was in a blender, basically. I mean, you're dead instantly. And the first kick probably shatters your spine, right? It snaps that right in half because then the next one, explodes your stomach, and then oh God. So that's how this guy died. That's pretty much how they think this guy died. And then they had to kill the kangaroo. I don't even know how the authorities got brought to it, but when the authorities showed up for this guy who lived in Australia, they had to kill the kangaroo because the kangaroo wouldn't let the medical people anywhere near the dude that the kangaroo just killed. Like the kangaroo was like, "What's up? You want some?" Like the kangaroo was like stalking back, so they killed it. They killed the kangaroo. Kangaroos, man, kangaroo fights are very real. Though they are not, I know, like, because we don't have them here and we've only seen them like depicted in cartoons or as like cuddly little lovable. They aren't. They are mean. They're mean. Next thing you're going to tell me is that koalas are mean. I bet you koalas are mean too. They look so cute, but they're probably mean. Pandas too. Do you know pandas aren't nice? Don't you think pandas are nice? Pandas are bears. Pandas are not nice. They're wild animals. Civics is trending. I don't like this story. Ugh. This story kills me. Civics is trending because there was a new study. Civics, the study of civics used to be a requirement in American public schools, and then we got rid of it because I don't know. At some point, we decided that kids were fat and we needed to do more gym and less education. I don't know what it was, but they got rid of civics. Civics was the study of our government, the study of how we as citizens are expected to comport ourselves. We haven't had this in 30, 40 years. No kid who has gone through an American public school system has ever learned about how to vote, has ever learned about none of this stuff. How the breakdown between your local, state, and federal government, all of the things that you learn in civics class so that you understand what is happening in this world. It'd be nice if we had some more informed people who knew less than. Here's the deal. Okay, so civics is trending because a new poll, Changing America, less than half of Americans can name. I can't believe this headline. I want you guys to try and do this, okay? Less than half of Americans can name all 3 branches of government. Survey finds. Half of you, half of us, not you, shouldn't point fingers. Half of us don't know legislative, judicial, and executive. Okay, all right. It took me a second. All right, it took me a second, but I got it. Legislative, judicial, and executive. Those are the 3 branches of our government. How does 50% of the people out there not know that? How can, you know why? Because civics. Because we were never taught these things in school. We glossed over it. But we didn't have an entire class for 1 hour a day for an entire year that just concentrated on this stuff like we used to. It was my generation, Generation X. We were the generation that got tossed. Americans' understanding of basic facts about the United States government and how it works declined for the first time in 6 years, as less than half of Americans in a new study could name all 3 branches of the government. The Annenberg I see, this is why I should have pre-read this. I hate these because I don't give a shit about all this breakdown about how they did it. Let's see. They found a Constitution Day civics survey found a significant drop in the percentage of Americans who could name all 3 branches of government, which are, as it says here, let's see, who got credit for it? Who did it first? Adam Reyna. Congratulations, Adam Reyna. Looks like you were first with legislative, executive, and judicial. A quarter, 25% of us couldn't name a single branch of our government. 25% of us, when asked, can you name the 3 branches of government? 25% of us went, I can't even name one. You're not allowed to have any opinions. I don't want to hear you talking to me about email servers or Russian collusion or any. Shut your stupid mouth if you couldn't name the 3 branches. You have no credibility. You don't know what you're talking. You don't have the basics. You don't understand the basics. You are simply, all of these people, you read their Facebook posts and it's like, oh, that guy just watched Tucker and basically just transcribed everything he said, but put it in his own stupid words so that people would go, oh, this guy is smart. 25% of people can't name one branch of government. All right, let's see what else is in the survey. Okay, hold on. The survey also found a decline in the number of respondents who could name any of the 5 freedoms guaranteed under the First Amendment. Okay, 5 freedoms. Religion, right? Okay. Press, get together, right? We can protest, assembly, freedom of assembly. So religion, press, assembly, truth to power, right? Talking back to the government. So what is that? Like, petition the government. What am I missing? Religion, press, freedom of assembly, freedom to petition, speech. There we go. Speech. All right. Hold on. Let me see here. Okay, so those are the 5 freedoms guaranteed, right? Those are the 5 freedoms guaranteed by the Constitution of the United States. Where's the survey also found a decline in the number of respondents who could name any of the 5 freedoms guaranteed under the First Amendment. Freedom of religion was named by 24% of those surveyed, falling from 56% from the previous survey. Those who named freedom of the press also declined sharply, down by 30% points. So 50% of people could name freedom of the press as one of the freedoms guaranteed to us in our Constitution. Now, only 30% knew that. Around 26% of respondents couldn't name any First Amendment freedoms. None. The First Amendment is freedom of speech. Okay? That's 26% of people couldn't name one freedom in the First Amendment. People don't know the Constitution. People do not know the Constitution. We took the Constitution test in 8th grade and then again in junior year. They used to take the Constitution test every year when civics was taught. Every year you used to have to take a Constitution test just to make sure that's how you passed civics. You knew the Constitution. You were given a test. Then my generation, 8th grade, we'll give you like a couple of weeks, and then you'll take a test, and then you'll be good until you're like ready to graduate high school, and then we'll give you the test again. Around 26% of respondents could not name any First Amendment freedoms, and the percentage of respondents who listed the right to bear arms as a right protected under this 26% of people said that the right to bear arms is the First Amendment. 26% of people in America think that the Second Amendment is the First Amendment. How can we get better? How can we get better if we don't have anything? There is no touchstone that we all agree on. There is no home base where we all come back to and go, okay, here's what we know to be facts. Now let's all branch out and go about our ways and try and create this society that we don't have that anymore. There is no place where we all come back and go, okay, what is the base limit of knowledge that we all have? All right, let's work on that. Moreover, 3/4 of respondents know the Constitution prevents the federal government from establishing an official religion, a percentage statistically similar to the previous year's survey. Okay. All right. Let's see here. When it comes to civics, knowledge is power, said Kathleen Hall Jamieson, director of the Annenberg Public Policy Center at the University of Pennsylvania. It's troubling that so few know what rights were guaranteed by the First Amendment. We are unlikely to cherish, protect, and exercise rights if we don't know that we even have them in the first place. You don't have to be a nerd about it, you know? But if you're going to argue about, I had a situation a couple of weeks ago where somebody was talking about the Supreme Court. And I don't want to embarrass him. We were out on the boat. We were out on the lake. And this person's like, well, you know the Supreme Court, blah, blah. And he was talking about this. And he's going, and he just said a couple of things that were just not true. Like how it works, like not true. And so I asked this guy who seemed to be a Supreme Court expert, I said, who's the Chief Justice of the Supreme Court again? Like I asked him like I didn't know. Like he didn't know. He didn't know. He's a Supreme Court expert on the boat with like 10 beers in him. But I asked him who John Roberts is, and he's like, I don't know. Shut up. Stupid people running their mouths about shit they know nothing about because they what? They watched 20 hours of Newsmax and they're just parroting back what they hear people. That's called disinformation. That's called propaganda, and that's how this shit happens, because dumbass on the boat starts spewing garbage that he just heard. He doesn't understand it. He heard it, thought the word sounded good, and he's like, I could use that on the boat. Sound like a smart guy. And then he says that, and then he completely... It's okay. Dude, guy's a douche anyway. Not a fan. What else do we have here? Let's see here. All right, let's end on a happy note. Let's go through the Emmys. Let's talk about a little bit of TV, since I talk out of my ass on just about every subject here that we go through every day, Monday through Friday here at noon. I'm not gonna lie. Sometimes I do exactly what I just accused everybody else of doing. Sometimes I just hear something, I'm like, I'm gonna say that because I agree with it and it sounds good, and I just parrot it back. However, when the subject of television comes up, you can rest assured that you're getting some A+ data here. When I break down the television landscape, when I tell you what's worth watching, you can best believe that I'm giving you something that I truly and sincerely feel. So let's go through the winners of the Emmys Awards. I don't even watch the Emmys. I don't watch any award shows. I haven't watched an award show. I think that the pandemic came through at a nice time, because the pandemic award shows were just like, let's just end it. We've seen now that we don't have to do these big backslappy, look at us, aren't we all beautiful, wealthy, and brilliant kind of parties, because that's what they are. They're just, look at how cool these people are. It's an aspirational thing. People watch it and they're like, someday I would like to be that successful. It's that kind of a thing. So I hate award shows. I didn't used to. I used to watch them all. Now they're all, I guess I'm just older and I understand that people are full of shit. But let's go through the Emmys. Okay. Let's see here. Let's see what won. I'm very happy with a whole bunch of stuff. So let's run through the list. Okay. Outstanding drama series. The winner is, of course, well, actually, let's go through the wow. Look at all these. All right. So here are your nominees for best drama series. Yellow Jackets, Showtime. Didn't see it. Stranger Things, saw the first 2 seasons. Squid Game, 1 season, so last year. Severance, everybody says Severance is the best show they've ever seen. Boring as shit. I couldn't get past 5 episodes of it. I should have bailed after 2 episodes of Severance, but everybody's like, Severance is genius. You gotta hang with it. So I hung with it for 3 more episodes and finally went, yeah, I don't like this. This is weird for weird's sake. That's all. Ozark, fantastic. Ozark is great. Euphoria, never saw it. Again, it seems to be about the sex lives of teen girls. Not my thing. Better Call Saul, so good. Better Call Saul, so good. And Succession. Those are your nominees for Outstanding Drama Series. Succession won. Of course, Succession won, because Succession is like the best drama series of all time. I know. Look, there's a whole bunch there that. Okay, so it's not in with Game of Thrones, Battlestar Galactica, The Wire, and The Sopranos. Not yet, okay? Not yet. But I'll tell you, man, a couple more seasons, the way the first 3 seasons of Succession has gone, and forget about it. It's my favorite show of all time, because it is just that good. Outstanding comedy series. Here's what you got. Abbott Elementary, talked about that. I'm going to watch that episode tonight. Barry, Bill Hader, HBO, a hitman who wants to become an actor. Barry is so good. Curb Your Enthusiasm. What can you say about Curb? We're like 20 seasons in. One of the greatest sitcoms of all time. Hacks. Jean Smart. God, she's so good in that. Marvelous Mrs. Maisel. Love that show. Only Murders in the Building. Not my thing. I know, it's another one of these shows that everybody's like, have you seen Only Murders in the Building? Why, yes, I've seen 6 episodes. Isn't it just kind of lame? No, isn't it just the greatest? It's kind of lame. Oh, you're not what? You don't really? Well, you probably don't like murder mystery podcasts. They're kind of lame. Anyway, I did not get into Only Murders in the Building and What We Do in the Shadows. Those are and Ted Lasso, of course, and those are your nominations for Outstanding Comedy Series. Haven't seen Abbott Elementary. Love Barry. Love Curb. Love Hacks. Love Marvelous Mrs. Maisel. Didn't watch or didn't finish Only Murders in the Building. And What We Do in the Shadows, I absolutely love. And Ted Lasso, I absolutely love. So of all of those, let me tell you something right now. The funniest, the pound for pound funniest, most creative, and most interesting comedy series of the ones that I mentioned is What We Do in the Shadows. And it's not even close. That is the funniest show on television currently. Ted Lasso might be one of the best shows on television, but if we're talking about laughs, you can't compare Ted Lasso to What We Do in the Shadows. What We Do in the Shadows is hysterical. But Ted Lasso won, and I'm okay with that. 2 years in a row, Ted Lasso, outstanding comedy series. Outstanding limited or anthology series. Pam and Tommy, Inventing Anna, The Dropout, Dope Sick, and The White Lotus. Pam and Tommy, that's fine. It was silly. It's not going to win anything. It was just interesting. Inventing Anna, the best of all. Inventing Anna was the best of all of the ones that I just mentioned that were nominated here. And when I say it's the best, that's saying a lot because Dope Sick was so good. The White Lotus was so good. Inventing Anna, I think, is the best. White Lotus won. Your winner for outstanding limited or anthology series, The White Lotus. White Lotus is really good. If you haven't seen The White Lotus on HBO, it's really good. It's really good. Outstanding lead actor in a drama series, Lee Jong-jae for Squid Game. Very, very last year. Who did he beat? This is a drama series, so he beat he beat Jason Bateman for Ozark. He's so good. Beat Brian Cox in Succession. He's so good. He beat Bob Odenkirk in Better Call Saul. He's so good. He beat Adam Scott in Severance. He beat Jeremy Strong in Succession. He's so good in Succession. And your winner was the Squid Game guy. There you go. Lead actress in a comedy series. Funniest chick in a comedy series. Issa Rae, Insecure. Never seen it. Elle Fanning, The Great. Never seen it. Kelly Cuoco, The Flight Attendant. Saw first 2 episodes. Quentin Brunson, Abbott Elementary. Never seen it. Rachel Brosnahan, The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel. Fantastic. She's wonderful. Jean Smart for Hacks. Jean Smart for Hacks wins. Good. All right, very good. Yeah, I would have been fine with either Jean Smart or Rachel Brosnahan for The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel. Outstanding lead actress in a drama series. Lead actress. Jodie Comer for Killing Eve. She's good. Laura Linney for Ozark. She's good. Melanie Linsky for Yellow Jackets. Didn't see Yellow Jackets, but Melanie Linsky is great. Sandra Oh, Killing Eve. So good. Killing Eve is a good show. I don't know if you guys ever seen that. Reese Witherspoon, The Morning Show. He's pretty good. I like The Morning Show. It's a good show. Zendaya for Euphoria. My 13-year-old son, very excited. Zendaya won. He loves Zendaya. I mean, I can see why. She's staggeringly beautiful. Outstanding lead actress in a drama series, Zendaya. Outstanding lead actor in a comedy series. Well, I mean, come on here. This is a really good. Martin Short, Only Murders in the Building. Steve Martin, Only Murders in the Building. All right, these two canceled each other out. You can't. This sucks. You can't have two guys who play opposite each other as co-leads in the series. You can't. So they're out. They were never going to win. Nicholas Hoult for The Great. I don't know what The Great is. What is The Great? I've never heard of The Great. Donald Glover, Atlanta. My feelings about Donald Glover are that, I mean, as long as Donald Glover is out there being creative, I don't know why they're wasting time giving awards to anybody else. Donald Glover is about as amazingly creative an individual as I have ever seen come out of Hollywood. Stand-up comedy, acting. He's doing dramatic acting now. He's going to add dramatic actor to his thing. He's one of the biggest hip-hop stars, a recording artist, tours the world as his alter ego, Childish Gambino. Star of Atlanta, which is a situation comedy that is so far ahead of its time. It's Donald Glover, unbelievable. And Jason Sudeikis for Ted Lasso. The winner, Jason Sudeikis for Ted Lasso. Again, I mean, Donald Glover shouldn't even be in this category. There should be an award, Donald Glover Award, for, because nobody has been more interesting, more creative, more more ahead of his time as far as everything goes the past 5 years, quite like Donald Glover. Outstanding lead actor in a limited or anthology series. We got Colin Firth for The Staircase. We got Michael Keaton for Dope Sick. We got Oscar Isaac for Scenes from a Marriage. We got Himesh Patel for Station 11 and Sebastian Stan from Pam and Tommy, your winner. And I predicted this a year ago. Michael Keaton for Dope Sick. I remember I watched the first episode of Dope Sick. We were doing these shows, and I came in and I said, I'm watching Dope Sick. It's really good, but I'll tell you this, Michael Keaton's going to win a whole bunch of awards for this. And here we are a year later. Michael Keaton has won Best Actor for Dope Sick. He's so good in that. As like the doctor who starts, he's kind of like ground zero as far as the story for like doctors that were overprescribing pain medication. And then he realizes that what he's doing and the damage that he's so good. He's so good. Outstanding supporting actor in a limited or anthology series. We got Steven Zahn for The White Lotus. He's good. Michael Stuhlbarg for Dope Sick. Very good. Peter Sarsgaard for Dope Sick. He was good. Seth Rogen for Pam and Tommy. He was Seth Rogen. It was a story about Pam and Tommy and a sex tape. Will Poulter, Dope Sick. Don't think I know who that is. Jake Lacey for The White Lotus. He was good. And Murray Bartlett, The White Lotus. Now, this is interesting because you had 3. This is so weird. The winner was Murray Bartlett for The White Lotus. Murray Bartlett. He's very funny. He played the... so if you think of The White Lotus, I would say just think of Fantasy Island. Just think of like fantasy people, but it's not it's not magic or anything. It's just a resort that these people go away to. They arrive just like on Fantasy Island. You know how like Mr. Rourke was like, welcome at the beginning. Well, that's what the guy who won, Murray Bartlett for The White Lotus. That's what he was. He played the guy who he ran the hotel. He greeted the people as they showed up for the hotel. The White Lotus is a hotel. It's a resort. I think it's in Hawaii. I don't know. It's an amazing show. It's really a good show. The White Lotus. And I don't know if The White Lotus, they can't do a season 2, not with the cast, because it is like Fantasy Island. You know what I mean? Like Fantasy Island, each episode had different guests. So like the next season of White Lotus is going to have to be new guests at the White Lotus. It can't be the same guests coming back. You know what I mean? We already had these stories. So I do look forward to seeing what they do. Outstanding supporting actor in a drama series. You got Nicholas Braun for Succession. Who's Nicholas Braun? Is Nicholas Braun Cousin Greg? Is that Cousin Greg? That might be Cousin Greg, who I love, who is so good. Yes, Nicholas Braun is Cousin Greg in Succession. Billy Crudup for The Morning Show, good. Kieran Culkin for Succession. Oh, he's so good. He is so good. Matthew McFadden for Succession. Tom Wamsgams. Tom Wamsgams from Succession. My favorite Succession character, by far. Well, not by far, but it is definitely my favorite Succession character. Tom Wamsgams. Love that guy. Park Hae-so, Squid Game. John Turturro, Severance. Again, with the Severance. You people are going to have to explain to me again what it is that I'm missing. No, you know what? Don't bother. Just don't bother. I'm comfortable. I'm comfortable not getting what's so great about Severance. Christopher Walken for Severance and Oh Young-soo for Squid Game. Your winner for Outstanding Supporting Actor in a Drama Series is Matthew McFadden. That's right, Tom Wamsgams. Tom Wamsgams from Succession. By far my favorite character in the show. God, I love him. He is. If you guys don't want, first of all, if you watch Succession, you know what I'm talking about. you know. But if you don't watch Succession, Tom Wamsgams is the biggest phony baloney, smile to your face, stab you in the back, corporate VP weasel character that I've ever seen. That's what he is. He is just an awful person who's also a lot of fun. You go out, you drink with him, you have a good time, and then he destroys your career because it allows him to get ahead a little bit more the next day, the very next day. That's who Tom Wamsgams is in Succession. Outstanding supporting actress in a drama series. This was a big one for me because there were a number of people in this category who I thought really deserved a good look. Sydney Sweeney. She's got one here. She's for Euphoria. I don't watch Euphoria. I do like Sydney Sweeney though, but I don't watch Euphoria. Sarah Snook for Succession. J. Smith Cameron for Succession. J. Smith Cameron, she plays Jerry. She plays the Lord, sort of like second in command, at the corporate level of the show Succession. She is really good. I was really hoping that she would get recognized. Also, Rhea Seehorn for Better Call Saul. I'm like, Rhea Seehorn, that character that she played in Better Call Saul was so underappreciated. She was like, if you watch the entire run of Better Call Saul, just underappreciated. I don't think anybody really. And then the other one was Christina Ricci from Yellow Jackets. I didn't see that. Young Ho Yoon for Squid Game. Didn't see that. Or I did see that, but I don't know who that person is. Patricia Arquette for Severance, and Julia Garner for Ozark. Now, there's the other one. So I was really interested in the Rhea Seehorn, J. Smith Cameron, and Julia Garner dynamic, because those three people, for very different reasons, could all make a claim that you need to give them this award. But it went to Julia Garner. And honestly, I couldn't be happier for Julia Garner. Here's what I would have liked. I would have liked for that award to have gone to Rhea Seehorn and Julia Garner to have won for the movie that Anna, whatever that movie, that other thing she did. Julia Garner was nominated for two things, Ozark, and then that movie Inventing Anna. She's so great in both, but she was so good in Inventing Anna. I'd have liked to have that one. Outstanding supporting actress in a comedy series, Alex Borstein, The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel. I like her. Alex Borstein, probably most famous for being Lois Griffin. Oh, Peter, Lois Griffin. But she's also really good in The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel. Hannah Einbinder, Hacks. Hannah Einbinder is Lorraine Newman's daughter. Remember Lorraine Newman from Saturday Night Live? Hannah Einbinder. She looks like her too. Once you know that she's Lorraine Newman's daughter, you're like, there you go. That's why I thought she looked familiar. Janelle James, Abbott Elementary. Cheryl Lee Ralph, Abbott Elementary. Kate McKinnon, Saturday Night Live. God, is she overrated. Sarah Niles for Ted Lasso. Sarah Niles played the therapist last season that came in to sort of the mental health coach for the soccer team. Juno Tempo, who plays Keeley in Ted Lasso. Hannah Waddingham, who plays Rebecca in Ted Lasso. Well, those three Ted Lassos, they all canceled each other out. Your winner, Cheryl Lee Ralph for Abbott Elementary. Hannah Waddingham, Rebecca from Ted Lasso, she was the defending champion in that category, and I was kind of hoping she'd repeat as Jason Sudeikis repeated, but she did not. Supporting actor in a comedy series. Here's another good one that I was watching. Bowen Yang on Saturday Night Live. I don't get him. Henry Winkler, Barry. So good in Barry. Gene Cusimano. Cusimo. Gene Cusimo is his name. Tyler James Williams, Abbott Elementary. Again, not familiar, but I'm going to watch an episode tonight. Tony Shalhoub for The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel. Nick Mohammed, Nate. He plays Nate on Ted Lasso. Toheeb Jimmo from Ted Lasso. I don't know who he plays. I think he plays the African player, the African kid. Anthony Kerrigan for Barry. Anthony Kerrigan plays NoHo Hank, an incredible character. And Brett Goldstein for Ted Lasso. Now, I was interested in this category because I was kind of hoping for Henry Winkler. Wouldn't that be cool to have like a Henry Winkler moment? One of the most important people in television, American television of the 1970s and 80s. He's never won an Emmy. To have him at this late career, playing this amazing career on Barry, to come up on stage and give the Fonz a freaking Emmy. Come on, man. That was the moment I was looking for. I was also looking for, with Barry, I would have been okay with NoHo Hank because that character is so incredibly funny. And it's just such a He's like an Armenian mobster, but he's trying to fit in Southern California. So he's trying to be modern and hip. So he uses a lot of broken. He's very funny. He's very funny. And I really wanted that. But then there's the defending champion, Brett Goldstein, who plays Roy Kent on Ted Lasso. Roy Kent is my favorite character on Ted Lasso. So it was really, for me, it was between Brett Goldstein, Anthony Kerrigan for Barry, and Henry Winkler for Barry. And guess who won? Brett Goldstein. That's right. 2 years in a row. Roy Kent from Ted Lasso takes home the Emmy. 2-time Emmy winner, supporting actor in a comedy series. Saturday Night Live won for Variety Sketch Series. Variety Talk Series was won by Last Week Tonight with John Oliver, which I can't stand those shows. This is like the most gross category. Outstanding Variety Talk Series. Your nominees were The Late Show with Stephen Colbert, Too Political, Late Night with Seth Meyers, Too Political, Jimmy Kimmel Live. I forget that show's on. The Daily Show with Trevor Noah. Ugh, I can't. And the winner, Last Week Tonight with John Oliver. I watched some John Oliver for the first time in probably 4 years. I used to watch John Oliver every week. It used to be one of my favorite shows. And then at some point I just went, I'm so tired of this. I am so sick and tired of these, like, I'm so sick and tired of people. This is what's wrong. This is what we're doing. Aren't they so stupid? Come on, we can all see how stupid they are. Let's laugh at them. Let's make fun of them. Do something. Do something. I'm so tired of these so-called wits and these brilliant thinkers just using whatever these times are that we're going for as comic material. Let's make it. Oh, it's so funny. Did you see how he made fun of Trump? That's so funny. It's not funny anymore. It's not funny anymore. It's actually gross. And at this point, it's just like, I have zero tolerance for political comedy. There is nothing funny about politics anymore. Just stop it. And John Oliver, God love him. I find him very funny. He seems very likable. But dude, just stop it, you dork. You're just a smart, funny dork sitting there saying stuff that we all know. And then what's going to happen? You get us all riled up and we're like, yeah, that's not the way it should be. And then what? Nothing. There are no solutions ever offered. There are no ideas ever given. There is just nothing. It's just, I'm going to be funny and I'm going to make fun of something and you're all going to laugh and we're going to feel superior about this because we're all in the know and we're the smart people who are laughing at all the dumb people. Well, do something about the dumb people. That's the more important thing. I know that we're all feeling really cool, like we're in this like hipster liberal cult and we're all loving on John Oliver and Trevor Noah and all that. Shut the fuck up. You, Samantha Bee, go away. All of you. Look, I don't have anything against you personally. You seem like funny, talented people. But it is not the time for you to be doing your little witticisms about the current political situation in this country. Okay, go away. It's not funny anymore. And scene. Outstanding supporting actress in a limited series. I only did this because I wanted to get to Jennifer Coolidge for The White Lotus. Jennifer freaking Coolidge. We talked earlier about Jean Smart and how she is like on the very close to being a national treasure. Jennifer Coolidge is already a national treasure. Jennifer Coolidge, just to see Jennifer Coolidge win an award and have her get up on stage and just be all Jennifer Coolidge for a couple of minutes, that's like my heroine. I just love Jennifer Coolidge so much. There isn't anything. She is. I have a list of a couple of people who do this. Okay, these are people who do not have to say a word. All they have to do is suddenly appear on screen, and I will begin to laugh. They're not doing anything. They just show up on screen. I will begin to laugh because I know that their presence means something funny's coming. Bill Murray is like that. Bill Murray is like that for me. Chris Elliott is like that for me. Do you guys know Chris Elliott? Chris Elliott, remember, he used to be on David Letterman, Guy Under the Steps. He hasn't really done much in the last 20 years. But Chris Elliott Chris Elliott ruined the movie Titanic for me. He did. He ruined the movie Titanic because Chris Elliott is in the movie Titanic, James Cameron's Titanic. Chris Elliott is in Titanic, in a dramatic role. And he comes on screen and I start to go, it's Chris. And he doesn't do anything funny. And I was like, seriously, it wrecked me for about an hour. Chris Elliott plays one of the modern day Navy guys. Remember how in Titanic, it's like there's the modern people on the boat above, and then it tells the story of the boat below, but we go back up to the top and we see Chris Elliott's one of those guys up there. And I thought it was going to be funny and he wasn't funny. Chris Elliott is like that. Bill Hader is like that, where you can just appear on screen. So we got Bill Murray, we got Bill Hader, we've got Chris Elliott, and you guys, Jennifer Coolidge. Jennifer Coolidge is in there for me. If you are going to film, the dog came in and opened the door, so now my door is open and I can hear some of the noise coming out of the backyard. The minute the camera pans to Jennifer Coolidge, it doesn't matter what she's doing. I just start to giggle because that woman is so funny. And she is just such an icon. Dude, she is responsible for a word. None of you had ever heard the word MILF before Stifler's mom was introduced to America in American Pie. That's where that is the origin of the term MILF. Oh, she's a MILF. Oh, I like a MILF. Oh, the MILF. Oh, now we got GILFs, right? Now DILFs. We got all these things. MILF. She's the original MILF. Jennifer Coolidge. I was so happy to see her win. Outstanding lead actress in a limited or anthology series, Toni Collette for The Staircase, Julia Garner for Inventing Anna. Should have won for this. She didn't. She won for Ozark instead. Lily James for Pam and Tommy, Sarah Paulson for American Crime Story, Impeachment. She played Linda Tripp. I couldn't get through it. I tried to watch American Crime Story, Impeachment. It's the story of it was the Monica Lewinsky, Bill Clinton, and I was like, ooh, this will be good. I can't wait to watch this. I got like 2 episodes in and I'm like, this sucks. So I didn't watch it. And then Margaret Qualley for Maid. Your winner, Amanda Seyfried for The Dropout. The Dropout was Elizabeth Holmes' movie. Remember the Elizabeth Holmes, the con lady who's reinvented how we test blood, right? She was like a billionaire and everybody gave her the money because she's like, I invented something. And they're like, ooh, here, take all this money because you invented something. And then like a couple of years went by and people were like, hey, about that thing that we gave you money for that you invented? And she's like, yeah, I'm still inventing it. And they're like, no, wait, I thought it was already invented. And she's like, yeah, that didn't work. And she's like, but you took our money. You said it worked. And, yeah, no, but we're working on it still. We're using it. That's her. So Amanda Seyfried won for The Dropout. I saw 1 or 2 episodes of The Dropout, and I liked it. Like I guess I didn't like it enough to immediately jump back in and binge the rest of the series. But first 2 episodes, I was like, okay. I remember watching the first 2 and going, okay, yeah, I'll come back. I'll watch the rest of this later. This is that, and I never went back. But anyway, she won, so there you go, Amanda Seyfried. That's it. There's nothing else. Writing for a limited anthology series, Mike White won for White Lotus. Original writing for a variety special. Gerard Carmichael won for that. Outstanding writing for a comedy series. This is Quinta Brunson for Abbott Elementary. This was the award that had the controversial Jimmy Kimmel laying down on the stage. And then we get into the directing. All right, that's it. That's the Emmys. There's no reason to watch them. Emmys were on Monday for the first time in a very long time. They're never on Mondays. They're always on Sunday nights. And the reason, why it was on Monday? Because it didn't want to compete with football. The Emmys wanted the day to themselves, and they didn't want to compete with week 1 of NFL football. So they moved them. They moved the awards to Monday. All right, that's going to be it. That's all we have. Let's see what else we got, though. Let's see if there's anything that has been trending since I've been stuck here. All right, let's go to Twitter real quick. Oh, by the way, if you can, tip the show, man. This show relies on your tips. Anything you can do to drop into the tip jar. Look, we got something very big happening. Something very big is happening, and we will be making this announcement within the next couple of days. There is just one more meeting that has to be held before I can go public with any kind of information. Big news, more content, more stuff coming. But most importantly, the announcement that I will be making will mean we won't be asking for tips anymore. I mean, I think we'll still have the tips thing there. If you want a tip, I'm not going to turn it down. People want to tip something because they like it, they can. But your tips will no longer be required to keep this show moving. However, we got to get past this month. Now, you may be like, did you say that a couple of months ago? I did. I said it a couple of months ago because of the exact same deal that we have right here. The deal that's happening right now that I'll be announcing here on the air in the next couple of days, this was supposed to happen months ago. I mean, and if you think it's taken a long time, you should just ask my mom. Just because my mom has been pretty much informed every step of the way. She's like, this is going on like 12 months now. I'm like, yeah, it is. Yeah, it is. It's going on over a year since we started working on this little idea. But this month and last month we have nothing. So if you want a tip, maybe one last time, that'd be very nice. You can drop us a line right there at the Venmo, right? You can drop a little something, or you can do Cash App. You can do that too. For the next few days, as much as I hate doing it, I will be hitting the tipping thing hard because it's been a rough couple of months. We've made it. We've made it. We did okay this summer. We made it fine. We didn't, we weren't obnoxious about tip the show. As a matter of fact, there were entire stretches of shows where I never even said anything. Sometimes there were entire shows where the graphic wasn't even up there. So if there's anything you can do to help out the show, I am comfortable in saying that this will probably be the last time you'll have to, if you wanted to help. All right, let's see what is trending today. What do we have? What's happening since we started doing the show? Let's see. Jimmy Kimmel is still trending. The Queen, look at the Queen still trending. Lindsey Graham, why is Lindsey Graham trending? Lindsey Graham plans to introduce legislation to restrict abortion nationally. Sarver, we talked about that. Robert Sarver, owner of the Phoenix Suns. The NBA has suspended Phoenix Suns and Phoenix Mercury owner Robert Sarver for 1 year. Let's see here. What else we got? Inflation Reduction Act. That's boring. That sounds boring. Jean-Luc Godard, L'Enfant Terrible, is trending. Breaking news, Jean-Luc Godard, the daring director whose unconventional methods shaped French New Wave film in the 1960s, has died at 91 years old. Want to talk about Munich Bayern? Huh? Bundesliga soccer? Anybody interested for a little Bundesliga conversation? Anything else? Cash App Bingo is trending. I don't know what that is, but as soon as I sign off, I'll have to get involved in that. If there's any opportunity to get a little money out of the Cash App people, I'm all for it. All right, that's it. I got nothing else. Look at us, 2 o'clock. Look at me. I gave you a full 2 o'clock show. You guys. How incredible. All right. Oh, look at me. Mr. Popular. Oh, my God. Oh, my God. Did you guys hear that? Bling. All right. Hold on. I got to take care of something. All right. I love it. I just got some very good news about the big announcement that we're going to be making. I just got some very good news. Very excited. Okay. And I will be sharing that with you. Tell you what. Hold on. They're blowing me up now with this news. Nope. All right. Byron Granger says Chris Elliott was in the abyss. Was it the abyss? Was he not in Titanic? Maybe it's the big boat movies. I don't know. They both came out around the same time, right? I don't know. Maybe. Whatever it was, he was in a dramatic role, and I wanted to laugh just because can't take him seriously. April says she's not a fan of the tease. Well, all right, I'm not either, particularly. However, I have spent the better part of the past 10 years looking ridiculous because projects that I have undertaken either failed, ran out of money, didn't work. So any sort of announcements that I've made in the past, a lot of times they came back and just basically smacked me right across the face. And I apologize for the tease, but I'm not going to say anything about anything until, you know what I'm saying? Look, anything can happen. Anything can happen in the last minute. Anything. You know, let's just say there's an individual in charge of this whole thing. That individual could drop dead of like a brain aneurysm in the next 30 seconds. So, you know, let's just wait until it'll just be a day or two. It'll probably be Thursday, most likely Friday. Okay. So I'll tell you. That's all I got for you. Where's Ross Rubio? Ross Rubio knows. Ross Rubio knows. Ross Rubio is helping me with this secret project. Don't say anything, Ross Rubio. A multi-answer test. I am on a never-ending quest. Yeah, Ross, if you were wondering, yeah. It's that thing that we worked on, that you were integral. What did I just say? What word did I just use? Oh, God, I'm going to hate watch that later. I'm going to be like, what? What was I even trying to say? It's all I need. It's all I need. All right. I got nothing else. You know what I'm saying? Tip the show if you can. I appreciate it. Won't be pushing. I'm going to push hard for the next few days, and then we'll probably not do it anymore. So your kindnesses are appreciated. Oh, God. I haven't taken a sip of this coffee in 2 hours. Blah. You're not left hanging, Melissa. We're going to be left hanging. You're not being left hanging. It's just... All right, you know what? I'm not going to mention it again. We won't mention it again. I'll just out of the blue. I'll just mention it out of the blue when it becomes official. However, it does need to be noted, this is not changing. Yes, you did, April. You are awesome. Oh, what do you mean? Didn't we talk yesterday, April? Oh my God, I'm so sorry. This show that I do, I wake up in the morning and then I start watching all the news shows and reading all my stuff, and then I come here, I sit here, and we all talk and we hang out for a little bit of time in the afternoon. That's not changing. This is not changing. I'm going to keep doing this, so don't worry about that. Pillow Talk will continue as well. However, there may be some slight alterations with Pillow Talk. There might be a little time difference, but whatever. Nothing is going to change. None of this stuff that we do here is going to change. Down the road I'll travel. It's Randy Jones's birthday. Randy Cowboy from the Village People. It's his birthday. I'm sorry. I don't know what it is about that picture. That picture makes me laugh. That picture brings me joy. This picture of 70-year-old cowboy from the Village People, Randy Jones, celebrating a birthday to me. That picture just makes me laugh. Look at how happy he is. Look at how he's just bringing the positive energy. All right. I'm going to leave that up there just for y'all to enjoy. All right. I'm out of here. Gotta go. See you tonight at 9. Pugs and Parker proudly present Pillow Talk on the Radio Misfits podcast platform.